next topic. Summer is actually getting very close. The summer movie season's about to kick off. So with that, we wanted to kind of, what are our most anticipated movies of the summer? I'm sure we're going to overlap a little bit. So if someone says one that you're excited about, we can all kind of chime in on it. And then if we could say one that's like a mainstream film, and then if you can say one that's like a deeper cut, something that's a little bit more interesting, because we all know the comic book movies and the Tom Cruise vehicles, but if we can help introduce people to some of that more interesting, smaller things too. Austin, if you want to kick this one off.
Yeah, so I'm really sick of superhero movies, but Across the Spider-Verse, to me, is the movie that I have been dying to see. I'm sick of cameos too, but there's a lot of pictures, photos, screenshots being released online, and I'm like, ooh, what's going to be the big thing in this movie, right? But beyond all of that, I thought Into the Spider-Verse was genuinely one of the best, if not the best, movie of that year, and it's one of those films that you can go back and rewatch. And what I've heard about this new one is it may just be better than the first, so I love Spider-Verse.
So I have a friend that goes to a lot of test screenings out in LA.
Ooh.
He's seen it.
Oh, Sean, come on, tell me.
He said it was amazing.
Okay, thank God.
Everything you want me to say of like positive feedback about this movie,
I feel good.
My guy has seen it and he raved about it.
That's a relief. That makes me feel better. Good.
So you excited for that one?
Oh, I'm excited for that. And you know what? The Flash. It's got so much going against it.
Yes.
But it's a freaking Flash movie, man. Like, I was a kid watching DC make Watchmen and all, you know, Birds of Prey, and I'm like, where's your Flash?
I was a kid watching DC make Batman '89. I'm old.
I was a kid watching DC make Batman and Robin.
I was watching George Clooney with nibbles.
Now you learn how old each of us are based off which DC movie we grew up with. Sorry,
but I'm just like, man, a Flash movie. Finally, we get one, and it sucks it's boggled down with all this outside drama, but Michael Keaton Batman, my childhood Batman, that I don't know.
Yes.
And all that, and then Ben Affleck in there and all this stuff, and it sucks that you're like, is this even going to matter in a couple years when James Gunn does something else? But I'm just wanting to see that movie, man.
Like, after a whole year of headlines exclusively about Ezra Miller doing the latest insane thing, you kind of forgot Michael Keaton's in this freaking thing.
Yeah.
And then that trailer aired, and I was excited for it, and it hit every single note I wanted it to hit. And then he stands there, and the shot lingers way too long in the absolute best way possible. And then you get an old man Keaton. I'm Batman. Perfect. Everything. And I love that trailer. Who wants to go next?
I'm going to go with this year's #1 Oscar contender. It's called the Barbie movie.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
And listen,
that
as a
makes
dude,
two of us.
that's something I never thought I would say. But when I saw Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie in there just having a good time, looking all plasticky and shit, I was like, take me there right now. But my second choice beyond that would probably be Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
I have a love-hate relationship with Nolan. People who like Tenet? No one. Okay, me neither.
I liked it, John. Okay.
I hope he returns to form with Oppenheimer. Take me there. Give me something cinematic, epic, immersive.
Is it true he built an actual atomic bomb to blow up a city for this movie?
Yes.
I hope. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
That's commitment. That is cinema.
I think he's using the same bomb he did in The Dark Knight Rises.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Barbie trailer, that was fascinating. For a Barbie, you know, aimed at like elementary age children. I have an elementary age child. The trailer is based off 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Like the number of people that watched it was like, that's kind of interesting, and didn't realize this is based off a 55-year-old Kubrick movie. My daughter's like, why are they throwing the Barbie in the air? Why are they like banging on the ground? What's this music? I was like, all right, tonight's family movie night, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I can't wait to see the look of disappointment on every little girl's face after she watches the Barbie movie with Ryan Gosling. It's not going to be what they expected.
Oh. But back to Nolan. Who in the room is excited for a new Christopher Nolan film?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, like at his worst,
He made Tenet.
Super interesting. Like it's an ambitious. Like he tried to do something. It was like, that didn't quite work. But he actually tries to do interesting things. And most of the time, he knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
So, yeah, new Nolan film.
When you can hear the dialogue, it's great. Yeah.
So I went to go see Tenet with a friend of mine. We're sitting next to each other, and I get out, do my review, and I couldn't understand a word anyone said the entire movie. And then my friend, he watches my review, goes, really, I could understand everything. It's like, oh, this sounds like I have hearing loss. Maybe. But half the internet's like, I couldn't hear it. The other half are like, what are you guys talking about? All right, who hasn't said their movie yet?
That would be me. So,
What do you got for us?
getting away from the comic book films, my most anticipated the rest of the year is easily Mission Impossible.
Is that your deep cut film? I haven't heard of this before.
Yeah. That's my deep cut. That's my shallow cut. Woo. That's everything. So yeah. So you got Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, I believe is the name of the title. Next Tom Cruise movie. We'll just call it that. They could market it as that. So like, not only is Mission Impossible just an awesome franchise, because almost without exception, it just gets bigger and better, and it's astounding. It's one of those few. But we're still riding the high from Top Gun Maverick. Like one of two films last year where it's like, drop what you're doing, go back to the theater. And all they've done that I've seen to advertise this movie is like, look at this stunt that Tom Cruise is doing. He's gonna dive off of a cliff on a motorbike and go into a jump with a parachute.
You think in 1 year, the two movies with the craziest leading actors, it's dudes in their late 50s.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly age Cruise was when he shot this, but he's 60 now. And Keanu Reeves, 58 years old, just doing the insanest stunts, rolling down steps, driving motorcycles off of cliffs. Men in their late 50s.
When you're having a midlife crisis, just jump off of something tall. That's my plan.
Did you guys want to do that tonight as kind of an outing, jump off a building?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious about that, if like Mission Impossible is going to get a boost from Top Gun Maverick, because that was such a big hit. And I know so many people prior to that movie coming out, a lot of my audience were like, yeah, I'm never, not really interested. And then they're like, oh, that was great. So I'm curious how that's going to affect.
I believe that was the trailer premiere, was before the Top Gun screen. They premiered the world trailer, and and I was already excited about it, but people who had never seen the other movies, they watched Top Gun Maverick, and they're like, hey, remember that trailer for that new Mission Impossible movie? Let's go watch the entire franchise and get excited. So I think it's going to help it big time.
Except for the second one.
Yeah, I don't like the second
one. When he has a mullet, skip over that one.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah.
You don't like the John Woo slow-mo?
I didn't say that. I just don't like his haircut in the movie. It just throws me off, man.
So you don't like 4 either then?
All right, did we all go, or am I saving the last obvious one? So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming out. True. It's like, it's only a month away, and we get Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, James Gunn's farewell to Marvel before he takes over DC. And it seems like they actually give him control. That's like him, Ryan Coogler feel like they actually get to direct their movies. Everyone else, it feels like it's directed by the Marvel committee. And I had my issues with Volume 2, but not in a way that made me cynical or skeptical towards the third movie. And then that holiday special came out. My family watched that like 10 times. Like we watched it like 2 times a day for a week straight. And even my 4-year-old loved it. She like I have a video of them screaming along to the Christmas song at the beginning of it. It's incredible. And it made me realize just how much I love those characters and spending time with them. And I'm terrified about which ones of them are going to be killed off in this movie. Yeah. But it's coming. All right, with that said, let's kind of shift over to our deep cut recommendations, because you guys have already heard of every movie we just mentioned. So we're going to kind of send some movies for you to think about that maybe weren't on your radar. I'll kick it off. It's a movie coming out at the end of April. I'm cheating a little bit calling it a summer movie. It's called Sisu. It's a...
That's how good it is. It makes
you cannot talk about this movie without choking.
Yeah, we were in a CVS and I started talking about it, and then I also broke down laughing talking about Sisu. I heard it described as Finnish John Wick, where he kills Nazis. Might as well give it the best pictures that you know. Have you not heard about this movie, Sisu?
Who are you talking to?
My camera. Remember my most anticipated?
I just heard kill Nazis. Like, we're in the Rice Christmas treat aisle.
It's a Finnish movie. I've heard it described as Finnish John Wick, where he kills Nazis.
Oh.
That's a pitch right there. And nobody had heard of this movie, and they ran the trailer in front of John Wick 4, and it's like, out of the blue, there's this guy just killing Nazis with a helmet, blowing them up and blowing up planes. taking out a plane with an axe. Woo! So that's my one. John Wick killing Nazis. I'm down for it.
Go that direction.
All right, this side of the table.
I'm going to go with Renfield. It comes out this April. Is that technically summer? I don't know the seasons when they start and stop.
As long as you're pointing someone to something smaller and interesting.
You know, all I need to say is it has Nicolas fucking Cage in it. We're sold. I'm done. He's a vampire once again. That's all I need. Suck some blood, Nicholas. I want to watch it.
Mine's boring. I like Oscar things. I'm an Oscar guy. There's a movie that premiered at Sundance. It's called Past Lives, and I think it's the best reviewed movie of the year so far, and it's releasing in June. It's about two friends who separated, and then 20 years later, they come back together and possibly fall back in love. Now, that sounds like, okay, but a lot of people are saying it could be this year's, like, not on the level of Parasite, but that surprise movie from another country that just shocks the world. Last year, I think it was All Quiet on the Western Front. So just keep that in mind as you go into the summer. If you want something smaller, more independent, and lower budgeted. So
I'm extreme in age, but I have the maturity of a 12-year-old.
Same, man.
Is this a movie that I'll be able to enjoy?
I don't know. I think it's a movie that its goal.
But you're selling me on this one.
Wait, its goal
Do they
is
kill Nazis in
is
it?
to
How
be.
many Nazis die in this movie?
There is a possibility that happens. I don't know, but I truly believe it could be one of those really nice independent movies, and you could see it slide into a Best Picture. Which it doesn't. Who cares about that? But you could see it slide into Best Picture next year.
Interesting.
Is it?
I don't know. I need to see this trailer. If you loved it, sometimes
You're talking me out of it, man. Don't
should
go
check
see
out
it.
Sisu.
Never mind. Don't go watch it.
So I just got enlightened about this movie last night. I was trying to find a deep cut. There's a film coming out. It's expected late July called Sympathy for the Devil. It's got Joel Kinnaman, who I've always thought was really underrated, guy that played Rick Flag. He was in The Killing, and Nicolas Cage. Premise: after being forced to drive a mysterious passenger at gunpoint, a man finds himself in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse where nothing is what it seems. And you click a little bit further, and it's a picture of Joel Kinnaman scared like this, and then Nick Cage in the most Nick Cage way, like, yes. That's all I need.
Yes.
Okay, one that I saw the trailer of that I never thought I'd really be interested in. So it's called The Blackening. It's coming out June 16th. The premise is a group of black friends are all at a cabin. A killer is there, and he says, I'm going to kill the one of you that is the least black. And it plays on horror tropes. So just like I like Scream because of its meta-ness and playing into the rules, it plays up on, you know, what black characters have been like in horror movies. And you think that kind of sounds ridiculous? Watch the trailer and tell me you're not laughing your butt off with the way they're playing onto the horror and the comedy aspect. I think that's always something so difficult to do, but that trailer got me so interested in that movie. So The Blackening.
You stop and think about this summer, what we didn't mention. Indiana Jones, new movie coming out. One of my favorite franchises, one of my favorite characters. And it's from James Mangold, director of Logan, obviously fantastic. Ford vs. Ferrari, favorite movie several years back. That didn't make one of our lists. Got the Little Mermaid. I've got a Little Mermaid lower back tattoo. Little Mermaid's.
I've seen it.
Really lower.
I want to see it.
He has flounder somewhere else, but I can't tell
Show
you.
me, Sean.
Yeah, that's later. And also for that OnlyFans account we're talking about.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Little Mermaid's coming out. I'm pointing to you as if you're the only person I'm talking to.
Hi, everyone.
My guy that goes to the test screenings also has seen The Little Mermaid. He saw it back in the December, and he got out of the theater. This is not a guy that's like, oh, Disney movies. That's not like his default energy or anything. He gets out of the theater, texts me, this movie's going to make $1 billion. He said the crowd went nuts for it. Now, I know the internet has all sorts of opinions on this movie. Yeah. I understand that there's way too many of these Disney live-action remakes. So, gotcha. All I know is I know a guy that saw it, and he said it's a crowd pleaser. Also, as someone that has kids and grew up during the Disney Renaissance, those movies are just nostalgia bait. All of us, people my age, take our kids to go see all of them. We got a Fast and the Furious movie coming out. There's a Pixar movie coming out. There's so much stuff coming out every single week from now until the end of the year. It is wild, wild, wild.